Knew we were onto something when my customers started saying it back to me.
Sure.
And number two, I knew we were onto something when my employees started using it against me.
Wake me up before you go. Don't leave me hanging on like a yo-yo. As we start off episode number 148, let's try that again. Let's try 158 of the Promo Upfront podcast, or we could call it 148 plus 10.
Yeah.
I'm one of your co-hosts, Bill Petrie. With me, as always, let's call him the master of the mission statement, the one and only Kirby Hasseman. Kirby, how the wham are you?
I was going to say, any day that I can have George Michael and Bill Petrie serenade me as I start my day, I'm doing pretty well. Things are good, man. Just trying to keep, it's in a little bit of that summer doldrum from a business perspective. And so we're trying to use that time to do a lot of proactive stuff. So things are good, buddy. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Just to clarify, that was me singing as Andrew Ridgely from Wham, not George Michael.
That's my fault.
I didn't know there's a very subtle difference. One has a good voice, the other one does not. But no, doing well. It is so swampy outside. I got to tell you, I am, I know you're a big fan of summer. This is one of those summers that I hate because I haven't been outside to enjoy outside in over 2 weeks. It's just flat out miserable. But you know what? That's okay. It makes me focus on work and making sure customers are happy. And Kirby, as things often do, that got me to thinking. You and I both love the customer testimonial. I don't think there's any question about that. So I'm going to read you 2 quotes today. Okay. And these come directly from Sage Ratings. And I want to see if you can use your vast industry knowledge of suppliers to see which supplier these 2 people are talking about. Are you ready?
I will do my best. Yes.
Quote number 1, these folks are outstanding. They communicate, they follow up, and they do what they say they're going to do. Love that one.
Yeah, that's good.
Quote number 2, had 0 issues from start to finish. They make things easy, and I'm looking forward to doing more business with them in the future. Kirby, do you have a guess what company that might be talking about?
It's funny. Can I just tell you, Bill, I don't know. I actually, I'm hoping that I get this right. Evans.
Very correct. Yes, okay. It's Evans, of course. Of course it is.
Yeah, of course.
Give that man a prize. Of course they're talking about Evans, and I think it's refreshing that Evans continues to build those bonds with distributors because they make it so easy to work with them. As part of the HPG family of companies, Evans continues their long-standing and well-known tradition of making every single order as easy and frictionless as possible. It's really a no-brainer to work with Evans, isn't it, Kirby?
It really is. And one of the things that literally, as I was listening to it, I was hoping I was going to get a hint. And when you said it was ease and it was really easy to work with, I'm like, well, that is the thing that I think Evans is known for.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. And I'm not the only one. In fact, they have been nominated again for a Supplier Star Award from PPAI. I think that's maybe... I don't have that in front of me. I think it's 876 years in a row they've been nominated for a Supplier Star Award. And I know the team there would be honored if you voted for them by heading over to ppai.org/supplierstar. There's directions on that page. And please give them your vote. Also, if you're headed to ASI Chicago in a couple of weeks, they would love for you to stop by their booth. That's number 200. Can't forget that. Easy as pie. Booth number 200 to show you how they can make your life easier. Heck, I know I'm going to be stopping by. Even if you're not going to ASI Chicago, you can see all their fine merchandise and wares over at evans-mfg.com. All right, Kirby, I want to thank you from the bottom of my Billy heart for having the courage to podcast with me today on episode 148 plus 10. All right, I have the upfront section of the podcast. I've got a couple different ways to go here. I'm going to go this way. It's not really a promo topic, but it's very top of mind.
Okay.
I want to talk about a masterclass that I have seen this week in branding.
Okay.
And it's something I think we've all seen. Many of us have experienced. A lot of us have emptied our wallets because of it. And that's Amazon Prime Day.
Okay.
I think they have done, Amazon being the they, let me identify my pronoun, I think they have done such a fantastic job of creating, I don't want to say a holiday, but let's call it an event in the middle of the year that they hype for weeks leading up to it.
Oh, yeah.
It's a 2-day event. If you're not familiar with Prime Day, don't just turn off the podcast. You don't deserve to listen. If you're not familiar with Prime Day, it is a 2-day event where Amazon has ridiculous discounts on a lot of great merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
And people spend money. It's like Cyber Monday or Black Friday, along those lines. But you know what I noticed this year is I got tons and tons of emails, as I do from other retailers online, almost to a organization. They use the word Prime. We have some prime time deals. It's a prime time to buy. And so not only has Amazon created their own event, which I would love to know the statistics in terms of how much people spend, what kind of profits they make for those 2 days, and what kind of strain it puts on their logistics department.
Yeah.
But now you have their competitors following suit. They've just kind of thrown up the white flag and said, yeah, we're just going to have Prime deals too, even though it's not on Amazon. It's really a thing now. So I want to ask a couple questions. Did you notice that kind of subtle but epic branding this week as you have been, I don't know if you went online. We'll talk about that in a minute about buying stuff. But did you notice the branding, the shift from a lot of their competitors about Amazon Prime Day?
What I noticed, honestly, is that everyone I know was talking about it. And ultimately, that's the goal, right? Like my daughter Jade was like, "Oh, I need to buy some stuff, but I'm waiting until here. Hey, Dad, you should go check this out because its Prime is coming up, blah, blah, blah." And then I did notice, actually, it was one of the things my wife was talking about was Walmart's program where they're trying to duplicate it. And they were really aggressive during this time too. And so, yeah, I think what you said was interesting. You said, I don't know if they created a holiday, but they created an event. No, they created a holiday. I actually like when you said that, I'm like, that's exactly what they've done. And, it's one of my things is like when people say, well, that's a made up holiday. They're all made up holidays, folks. They all are. And Amazon just made up one that most of us are following along with.
Well, Van Halen Day in Pasadena, California is not made up. So there is an exception that proves the rule. But back to the conversation about Amazon, Kirby. You're 100% right. It is a holiday. You're absolutely right. And again, it's one of those things. I don't know when it started. I didn't do any research. I was just kind of jotting down some notes and thinking, this is really just that proverbial snowball rolling down a hill. Started with a small idea, but now it is a thing, and I absolutely look forward to it. Now, the question I have for you, and I'll answer as well: did you spend any money on Amazon Prime Day? And if you did, I want kind of a loose percentage breakdown. Stuff you needed. There's stuff I needed to buy, like you were talking about. Either Jade or Skylar said, "Hey, I'm waiting to buy this because I need it, and I want to see if there's a discount." So I want a percentage breakdown of what you needed, and then what you wanted.
Okay. So it's kind of funny. For us, we did buy something. We bought 12 TVs. So
you did it for your building.
Yeah. So we are in the process of buying another building, and we're going to be doing some renovations. And so we bought 12 55-inch TVs, and they're all sitting in my basement right now. The FedEx driver was totally confused, but it actually did. And we've like, okay, if we're going to do it anyway, then this is the time we should do it. So that's I'd say that's a purchase.
We did the same thing. There's some things we needed household wise that we waited on, some clothing and things like that. And then I did get a couple things I wanted. I'm going on the road in a couple weeks for ASI Chicago, and I'm thinking I need a better microphone for when we podcast when I'm remote. So I got an $80 podcast microphone that I've been looking at. It was on Amazon Prime for $22. I'm like,
beautiful.
That's a no-brainer, right? No-brainer. So what I'd also love to see. So yes, I bought things I wanted to, which, I'm not going to share I got like electric toothbrushes and stuff like that. Stuff that like it's heavily discounted. I've kind of wanted one anyway. So I would love a breakdown. You know how they around Christmas time they always say the average American spends X dollars on Christmas.
Yeah.
I would love to know what that is on Amazon.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go do the research because frankly I'm lazy, but I would love to know that. So if someone would like to make up a number and present it as fact, I certainly would appreciate it, and I know Kirby would
Yeah.
too.
We will endorse it for sure.
All right, hey Kirby, got a question for you. Are you ready to make a big splash with towels?
Ooh, yeah.
All right, I
Let's
bet
do
you
it.
are. Hey, look, then you need to look no further than our friends at Kanata Towel, because they have that awesome Epicolor edge-to-edge sublimation. Beach towels, golf towels, workout towels, you name it, they've got it with that Epicolor edge-to-edge, vibrant, photorealistic sublimation. No minimums, Kirby, no setup charges, and the deepest inventory in the history of inventory. I've done the research. The deepest inventory. So you had really great again, but seriously, no minimums, no setups, and that's pretty awesome. And they've got products that will fit every price point. So learn more at kanatatowel.com. All right, Kirby, what topic do you have to regale us with this morning?
It's a great transition because I want to talk about promocations, where you, of course, need an
Oh,
amazing beach towel, right?
yes, you do.
So you've done the initial promo cruise, then
Correct.
you just did the promo Q.
We did.
But you and I haven't talked about that too much, and so I wanted to say, okay, you got two events, two very different events under your belt. So, how have the events gone? I mean, this is certainly an industry topic, and then you've got another. You just announced, I think, the next cruise coming up.
Correct.
So what are you looking to do differently or enhance with the next event?
Okay, so I think we covered promo cruise a lot when that was over. A great event. I mean, it was one of those events. It was so serendipitous, and it starts with the people we had on board. It was just a great group of people.
Yeah.
They gelled, and there's the connections that were made there shows that the concept works and works exceptionally well.
Right.
Suppliers have written a lot of business simply because new business, by the way, with distributors they hadn't worked with before because of that event. And I'm proud of that. I know Josh is very proud of that too. It's something we are exceptionally proud of. And then, but that's a supplier sponsored event. The promo queue is, hey, it's a pay to play. You want to come as a supplier? Super. Of course, there were product sponsorship opportunities. And we got some great things. We got some great shirts from SNS. I think you wore one on one of your Monday minutes. I was going to wear mine today. I just didn't. We got some great aprons. We got cornhole from Peerless. We got really great Bluetooth meat thermometers from our friends at Hirsch. So got some great stuff there. But if you were a distributor and you wanted to come, you had to pay.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to do with that event, the promo queue, is really start shifting the conversation a little bit and having distributors put a little skin in the game in terms of events. This industry is frustratingly, overwhelmingly financed by suppliers. And that's probably going to continue. But when we have opportunities to shift that, we're going to. And so the promo queue, for those of you who aren't familiar, it was a one-day event in Nashville, right around the 4th of July. And it was kind of a little barbecue competition. I had a great time, ate a lot of great food, and all the proceeds go to musicians on call. We're still doing the final tally and all that stuff.
Hey, can I jump in?
Yeah.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
So one of the things that you said there, what I think is really interesting, is that yes, most of the events in our industry are supplier funded, supplier driven. And, as a distributor, I kind of like that. However,
sure,
I've been to several events where distributors do have to put some skin in the game. And I actually, as a distributor, while I'd like to save my money, I actually like it because I think it thins the herd from those people who are the tire kickers and the trunk slammers that we talk about all the time. Those folks aren't interested. And so I find that the people who go are the ones I want to network with and the ones that I can learn from. And then I get more time with suppliers. So I actually think that's kind of interesting.
Well, 100%. I think that's the way the industry is going, right? There's a difference. It's what's the old the pig and bacon. Are you involved? A pig versus the farmer when it comes to bacon. One's involved, the other one's committed.
Yeah.
And we want people who are committed to the industry. So when we have the promo queue and you have a distributor spending their own money to fly out from San Antonio, to fly out from Washington, D.C., to fly out from Charleston, South Carolina, and spend money in a hotel just to hang out with people that they like and want to do business with. That's a pretty incredible testimonial to what I think Josh and I are building.
Yeah.
So, the one thing about the promo queue, it was hot. You can't control the weather. There are things that are outside your control. And I will tell you, it was a roaster that day. The air temperature was 100. The feels like temperature was 116 because it was super humid out there.
Yeah.
We had fans, we had misters. And then you add the fact you're standing over open fire. It was a long day, but we had a blast. And then, like you said, we have the second promo cruise coming up this November. And if people want to learn more about that, it's a little different route than the first promo cruise. Instead of going to Nassau, which we did on the cruise you were on, Kirby, we're heading to Cozumel. Yeah. So we're going to hit Cozumel, and it's November 4th through the 9th. And we've got a lot of suppliers lined up already. We've got Bell Promo, we've got Shapenko, we've got Ruckus, we've got a couple others already ready to go, and they've already committed. And so we're excited, and we're building on that. And so, you want to learn more, head over to promocations.com/promocruise. I don't want to be a commercial here, but it's a pretty exciting thing of what we're doing. It's perfect for those suppliers that sometimes get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. Yeah. And as a person who went on the event, what you said is exactly right. Like, I've talked about that Thursday night when we were getting ready to leave on Friday, and everybody like started to disperse, and then they came back, distributors with distributors, suppliers with suppliers. The other thing I've noticed, and I'm sure you've noticed it, is the suppliers who keep and continue to take pictures around the country. Oh, yeah. Like, hey, it's a Promocations reunion or whatever. And I was like, I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. So
yeah, we're looking forward to it. Josh and I are both going to be at ASI Chicago, and we're going to do. You have Kelly O'Brien, who's been such a tremendous advocate for us from SNS Activewear, kind of putting together a loose little reunion for all the people who are there. Awesome. So, and Josh and I are looking to do something in Vegas too. And again, we're just going to build on this thing. So it's a really exciting thing. It's one of those. It's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie. It's a ton of work, more work than I think I've ever really done. But it's so much fun to see all these things come to fruition. So I appreciate you asking about that, Kirby. All right, let's shift gears. At the outset, I called you the master of the mission statement. So I read an article from our good pals over at PPAI on their website about the importance of a mission statement. And I wanted to ask you, Kirby, do you have a mission statement? Just yes or no?
Yes.
Do you know what it is off the top of your head? It's okay if you don't, by the way.
Yeah, it's sitting right over there.
Okay. Again, I'm not going to call you out without calling myself out, because I prepared.
Yes, I know what it is.
Yeah, I prepared for this because I know I wrote a mission statement at the beginning of Brandivate, but I needed to read it again. Yep. So I'd love to hear your mission statement, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, it is to help companies attract and retain both customers and employees.
I like that. So Brandivate's is Brandivate ignites and accelerates the growth of our clients through market innovation, tireless motivation, and the continual pursuit to elevate all aspects of their business.
Love it.
So we have mission statements, but I do think it's important to review them. That's something I firmly believe you and I should be woken up at 3:17 in the morning on some random Tuesday and be able to spit that out without blinking. Yeah. So both of us need work on that. But
for sure.
So the definition of a mission statement for people who don't know is it's a description of a company's culture, values, or purpose for existence. Kirby, I think yours is wonderful. I'd like to think mine's pretty good as well. Yeah. Why do we do this? So I want to talk about, if people don't have a mission statement, why it's important to have one. And I'd like your take on this. I want to walk through a couple reasons, or do you want to chime in? Do you think it's important? Well, let me ask, do you think it's important to have a mission statement?
Yeah. And actually, I think you and I've talked about this. Part of the reason that I have what's in front of me is the Vision Traction Organizers from the book Traction. It's a VTO.
Yep.
And what I found was, by getting us all in line, it's something we hadn't done. And so the reason it's sitting right here is we just had a meeting to go over it after the first 90 days. And what I found is it gave us a bit of a common language, right? And then a common sort of purpose to say, yeah, okay, that makes sense. That is why we were in business. So doing that has been really helpful for us.
Yeah, and I agree. And so the reason I'm a big fan of mission statements. I'm a big fan of constructing them, doing it together, doing it as a group. One, you got to it clarifies your purpose and determines your direction. The one I think it's best for, though, and I've got one more after this, it really is a template for decision making.
Mm,
When you're stuck with a directional quandary, which way do I go? What do we do here?
yeah.
It's one of those things we've talked about on this podcast a lot. It's not what you sell, it's what you stand for. And sometimes we're all human. We lose sight of what we stand for sometimes because
Sure.
we're in a hurry, or maybe it's tempting to take those shortcuts from time to time. I
Absolutely.
think a mission statement can really be a great template for decision making. And the last is, I really do think it's important to put your mission statement out there for the world to see. It does live on our website. I assume it does on your website as well. And if it doesn't, I'm sure it's going to. The one thing I would caution against people, though, is so many people look at a mission statement as a marketing exercise, and it's 1,000% not.
Mm,
It really is something that is for internal use, but external sharing.
mm.
Want people to see it, but they don't get to contribute to it. Your
Right.
team contributes to it. It's not a marketing exercise. It's why do we do what we do? What
Sure.
is our purpose? Why do we exist? And so I just thought it was a pretty interesting article, and I wanted to really kind of dig a little deeper into that. And I didn't know if you had any additional thoughts before we
Yeah.
transition to the next topic.
Yeah. So I do think that it's been helpful for us to kind of, I think, whether it's a mission statement, a purpose statement, whatever, I think, the other thing that we have, and you've heard, delivering marketing joy is our sort of tagline. And for a while,
Right.
I struggled with whether or not that was our mission or whatever, but I will say that has helped us, just the delivering marketing joy concept has helped us make decisions.
Oh, sure.
And I think I've said this before to you, but it was funny when I knew two things happened. Number one, I knew we were onto something when my customers started saying it back to me.
Sure.
And number two, I knew we were onto something when my employees started using it against me.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah, because they would say, well, I don't know that this is a thing that will deliver marketing joy. Oh, crap. They're listening.
When I think of your legacy, I will, my first thing is always delivering marketing joy. To me, that's one of the greatest things you've come up with. And
Thanks.
so, and I mean that as a compliment. I mean, to me, that is that's not your mission, but it is your vision.
Right.
Very big difference there. Your vision is to always deliver marketing joy. And so I think that's a great distinction there. So good conversation. Kirby, do you have another topic we should dissect, discuss, debate?
I do. I'm excited about this one. This is one I've actually had for like a month, and I keep pushing it off. So today I think is a perfect day. Okay. So there's a trucking company telling gamers to take it outside. So Schneider National is looking to hire drivers, and they've placed in-game billboard ads on American Truck Simulator, a popular video game that lets, and apparently it lets players load, drive, park 18-wheelers in excruciating detail. Right. And so the game penalizes you if you break road rules, even simulates different types of transmissions and all kinds of stuff. So they're using these to recruit new talent into the trucking profession, which is short of a record number of drivers.
Sure.
So number one, I guess, and I guess this is really it, is what do you think of this? Do you think this is a good idea to try and attract and talent to the trucking industry?
Sure, why not? I mean, yeah, you and I talk about this, and I think it's kind of one of the fundamental things we should focus on more as marketers, but we lose sight of very easily as marketers. You go where the people are.
Yes.
So if your audience is playing video games, then yeah, you put ads in video games. To me, the bigger question is, why the hell would someone want to play a video game where they're parking trucks in excruciating detail? And to me, that's where I feel like as a society, we've jumped the shark. We don't really want truck drivers. We just want to play being a truck driver. Yeah. That being said, I think it's actually very, very smart. It's a great way for supplementary income for the video game developer. It adds a sense of realism to the video game for the people who do play it when they see real advertisements for real product. Reminds me of when back in the 80s when they wouldn't have Coca-Cola be just like generic cola, and that always like broke the suspension of disbelief, right? When you're in a movie, it was like screaming at you that this isn't a Coke. It's not a Coke at all.
Yeah.
Now you have those things in there. It feels more natural, more realistic. So I think it helps the gamer.
Mhm.
And then obviously the trucking company. It's a great way to recruit people who enjoy sitting and driving as it is. Now let's just put you in a moving vehicle as opposed to your couch.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. It's one of the reasons I've kept the topic for so long, because I'm like, I think it's exactly what I talk about this a lot when I talk about the transition in my career. Like when I first started in the promo industry, I would drive to an industrial park, park my car, and walk to all the buildings because that's where my customers were. And when I talk about the transition to creating content, I'm like, well, I'm doing that because I'm going where my customers are. And I think it's brilliant that they're doing this, not to mention you're recruiting people who are interested in it, but probably have a bit of an ability because they've actually done it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just, hey, I need a warm body. This is someone who's actually done, the work when it comes to the game. So I think it's brilliant.
A lot of people make fun of video gamers, right? It's kind of a bunch of dorks playing video games. I play video games sometimes to take stress out. I still do. I'll admit it. Mm-hmm. I think I'm fascinated with F1, and I still love F1. And I just got the new game, the new release. The only new game I ever buy. I always buy like a year or two old game, A, because I'm cheap, and B, because it's new to me. I don't care. But I got the new one. And what's interesting, the level of detail is so ridiculous that and I don't think people realize is the F1 drivers themselves use the video game. Now, granted, they have certain seats and steering wheels, equipment I don't have, but they use the video game to practice the track before they go to the races. So it's amazing what they do with the video games in terms of, like you said, somebody's already interested in it, and there is, and they might have the skill and ability, and that's where I was going with that F1 comparison. There is that aspect to it, so it's very interesting. But you do go where the audience is. We joke a lot, or we hear a lot, Facebook's dead, it's for the olds, and da 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 da. I'm sorry, but if 90% of your audience lives on Facebook, then you better be focused on Facebook. You can talk about Threads or TikTok or whatever, but if the majority of your audience is on what you might consider an aging platform, it's not their responsibility to follow you. It's your responsibility to go to them.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% on that. And it was funny because I was in a meeting just this week, I think, where someone was lamenting video games as one of the reasons that they aren't able to hire people. And I think it brought this topic back to the top of my mind, because I'm like, okay, we can bitch about reality, or we can live in reality and make the most of it. Those are our choices, right? And so if video games are where your prospects are living, go there and make it interesting for them. So I just thought that was kind of fascinating.
And people shouldn't look down on it. It's a nice stress reliever sometimes to, just play a half hour of a video game. Anyway, you know what, Kirby? I think we need to cool off. We've had some hot topics here. We need to cool it down, and we need to think about our friends over at Evans, how they make things so much easier for all of us. Man, you want an easy experience? You want a cool experience? You want a nice, easy experience? Can't do better than Evans Manufacturing. You heard the Sage reviews we read earlier, and honestly, that's two of quite literally hundreds of them. So it's really a no-brainer. They make every single order easy as possible for you, the distributor. And again, they're nominated for a supplier star. So if you would do them the honor, if you worked with Evans and you've had a great experience, and I'm sure you have, head over to ppai.org/supplier star. And again, if you're going to be at ASI Chicago in a couple of weeks, head over to their booth, number 200, hard to miss. It's going to be right there. There's a good chance I'm going to be there hanging out because I want things easier for me. So, hey, hope to see the people there at the Evans booth in Chicago. And Kirby, I want to say thank you for having the courage to do this podcast with me today.
Thanks, buddy.
Let's drive a truck.
That's right.